In this country, Nigerian government does not listen to good sense of reason. What they listen to is those who can contribute to where they are going. In this country, people don't get what they deserve. People get what they fight for, what they bargain for. Let us ask ourselves, those of us from the oil-producing nations in Nigeria, what have we bargained for? Have we been able to come together and take decisions on issues as to what we want? The issue is no. If you go to oil community A, let me use one of the community in Udu. It may not be oil community, a producing community. It may also be. If you go to, okay, let me use oil community. If you go to Oloko, Okolore, it's an oil producing area, and ask them what you want with respect to this area. And you go to Otu Jeremy and ask them what you want with respect to this issue. You will hear different opinions. Therefore, we, the people of the oil-producing community, we must know what we want. The Amajiri you have in Warri and the Alaji you have in Kano, they all have one vision. They believe that Nigeria is the estate of their forefathers, that they own Nigeria from the Sahara Desert to the Atlantic Ocean. Don't you know that? That is why anywhere they are, they don't fear. If you challenge in your own community, they will challenge you back. Of recent, they stood firm gidigba and fought with people who are from Abraka. Are you not aware? So those of us from oil-producing community, we have not been able to define our aims and objectives. PIA was given to us. In that PIA, they made provision for 3% of budget of the IOCs, of the CECLO. Budget, 3% of budget. In that PIA, they also made provision of 30% of the profit of NNPC for exploration of oil and gas in the frontier state. Mike Kobe, am I lying? No, I'm not lying. 30% of NNPC profit. The question is this: how long do you look for oil in the frontier states? One of the frontier states is Borno State, sharing boundary with the Niger Republic. So you get this year. Next year, you use the same 30%. The other year, you use the same 30%. The other year, you use the same 30%. There's no end. That 30% of the profit of NNPC is bigger than your 3% that is given to you. So, in true sense, PIA is meant to benefit the northern Nigeria at the expense of the oil-producing community. And in fact, I want to move in this gathering that we should resolve to state that that 30% that is given for exploration of oil in the frontier states, and of course there's no oil there, should be eliminated. That should be one of the resolutions of this gathering, and it should be well publicized. Is Mudiaga okay in the hall? Okay, it's busy. I hope there's a communique committee. It should be well publicized. When PIA was brought on board, there is a separate the board of trustees and the management committee. My copy, you are aware of that. It took years. Look at the PIA when it started from, when the PIA took effect, and when the management committee and the board of trustees were inaugurated. The issue is that what happens to those money from where the PIA started and from where the board of trustees started? In fact, one of the decisions of this gathering is that the 3% that is due the board of trustees and the management committee right from the effect of the PIA committee should be paid to the board of trustees in arrears. The board of trustees should demand for them because it is their entitlement. Today, in Nigeria, you have NNPCL. NNPCL is now a limited. Ask me, ask yourself. In limited liability company, Chiporubo will tell you, he's a seasoned lawyer. There are directors, owners of the company. Is that also? Yes. Whom are the directors of NNPCL listed in corporate affairs from the oil producing community? Is none. In this forum, we are demanding that the memorandum of associations of NNPCL should have the leaders of the oil producing committee sitting as directors. I also want to bring on board, if you have anything that has to do with northern Nigeria, such as Ministry of Livestock, the Minister of Livestock and the Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Livestock, they are all from northern Nigeria. But today in Nigeria, the Minister of Petroleum, that is something that concerns us, the oil producing community, because we have the oil and gas. Do you have substantive Minister of Petroleum today? Yes, I know. Do you have substantive Minister of Petroleum Gas today? Yes, I know. What they give to us is Minister of State. The question is, who is now the substantive minister? They tell you it's Mr. President. And quote me, nobody in line with the 1999 Constitution, Oruko will tell you very well, it is there. For you to become, Mudiaga Odje will tell you. In fact, my brother who just delivered lecture now will tell you, he's a lawyer. For you to start the Republic of Nigeria, you must present yourself to the National Assembly, the Red Chamber, in this case the Senate, to be screened. So the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria is elected to be a president. You cannot become a president and at the same time become a minister except you go to the National Assembly and present yourself for screening. We are now demanding in this forum from the federal government that the substantive Minister of Petroleum, Crude, and substantive Minister of Petroleum Gas should be appointed from the oil producing community. We reject being appointed as Minister of State always in the petroleum sector. In fact, if the Northerners, some part of this country, were to have the opportunity we have today in Nigeria, they would have left this country for many years. When oil was discovered in Obiuwevbi, the Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa wrote a letter to the Premier of Eastern Region, congratulating him because he has gotten additional source of revenue. What our forefathers fought for federalism, ability to control your own resources, produce your own resources, and pay tax to the center. That was what our forefathers fought for. That is what our leader fought for, that gave us the independence of Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that was what we practiced from 1960 to 1966. January 1966 occurred, and there was a now counter coup. When the coup occurred, Akpo, who was head of the Nigerian army, took over. And when the counter coup came, they nominated Gerald Gowon to take over. In fact, Akpo abrogated the federal structure and made it unitary. That was how Gerald Gowon took over and laid foundation on that. So we now lost to federalism. Successive government now laid on that. Now, your oil, my gas, belongs to the entire Nigeria. But the gold that is found in Zamfara, in northern Nigeria, belongs to the northerners. There is what we call Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission. They are saddled with the responsibility of sharing money accruable to the federation account, to federal government, state, and local government. Ask them, how much do you have from solid mineral, from gold, on monthly basis to be shared? Zero. It is your oil and gas. So today, in this summit, we should resolve, and I hereby move that for Nigeria to be on pedestal for development, we must return to true federalism. Because it is only through federalism that can develop Nigeria. Your oil, your gas will belong to the state, to the people who have it 100%. Then you pay a percentage of it, maybe 20% to the federal government. And what will the federal government use it for? Federal government will use it for international diplomacy and protection of the territorial integrity. Go and look at the exclusive list. What Nigeria government is biting is too much. That is why they cannot control the sector. In fact, they should devolve power to the state, to the sub-units. Can a governor in Nigeria today give instruction to the Inspector General of Police, to the Commissioner of Police, as against instruction of Inspector General of Police? No. The answer is no. They don't have their own security apparatus. However, we are from the oil-producing communities. We must encourage the governors from South Nigeria to ensure that there's a regional security architecture, like you have in Southwest Amoteco. They can lay on that. The money you and I pay today from the oil-producing community to the so-called kidnappers who are in the forest, or the herders who are in our forest, is more than local government allocation. If it doesn't happen near you, you may not know. There are some communities in the oil-producing communities where some people can no longer access their farm land because of herdsmen. Is that a welcome development? So we must encourage our governors from the oil-producing community. In fact, all the states in South geopolitical zone is oil-producing state. There must be regional security approach. That is one of the problems militating against the people of the oil-producing community. With true federalism, we cannot control our oil. NNPCL board, when it was constituted of recent, it was a man from northern Nigeria that is put there as the head of the chief executive of NNPCL. In fact, in Nigeria, it is universities from the southern Nigeria, such as University of Benin and the rest, that first took up courses in petroleum development, petroleum management, petroleum production. So when you talk of expertise in the oil industries, we have them in southern Nigeria. And we also have our people who have also worked in the oil industry, even though not compared to people from other regions. So today, let us call on Mr. President that NNPCL board should be dismantled. And somebody from the oil producing community, a man who bears the brunt of the oil production, should be the chief executive of NNPCL. In fact, I so move. Nigeria Gas Company, go to the board of Nigeria Gas Company. You will find the people from the oil producing communities. Go to PPMC, in the board, you will find people from the oil producing community. I can list them. There are so many. In fact, information even reaching me, the only man that was later appointed as the chief operating officer of NNPCL, Ewubare, information reaching me that he has resigned. Yes. That's what I was told. Somebody called me and mentioned it. Because of the overbearing situation. Until we are included in the oil industry, we will know what is happening there. The oil producing community has been excluded completely from the oil industries. We now go as beggars. This is a shame. We reject it in its entirety. So, my brothers, my sisters, we must unite. We must unite as people from the oil producing communities and speak in one voice. We must show love to one another. The definition of an oil producing community, in my knowledge, is 5 kilometer radius from the oil well. We do not need gas flaring in Niger Delta anymore. We have impanded, we have called on the federal government to ensure that there is mini LNG plant. If there is LNG plant in the host community, attach LNG plant to each of the gas flare sites. It can employ people up to 600, up to 300. And unemployment will be reduced drastically in the oil producing community. As we cry for that, all of a sudden, federal government said they were establishing 5 LNG plants all the way in Kogi. They connect with a pipe connected from Niger Delta, from Urobo land, from Isoko land, from Udokwa land, from Edo land, from Ijo land, etc., to empower 5 LNG plants. And as the spokesman, national spokesman and publicity secretary of Niger Delta Forum, I came on air on behalf of Pandel to condemn it, to tell the federal government that project must be stopped except to give us first. In economics, all of you are aware, the factors to be considered in establishment of industry. One of them is proximity to the source of raw material. So in this summit, we are calling on the federal government to establish LNG plants, mini LNG plants scattered all over Nigeria. It will give employment all over Niger Delta, all over the oil producing community. It will give employment It will reduce the debt that occurs in the oil-producing community. The lifespan of the man from the oil-producing community is very short at the moment. If we continue to talk, we will talk from now to 200 years. Chief Clark has been talking before Chief Clark died. The things he fought for, some of them couldn't achieve them. So, it is only a foolish man that begins to do something in one way without a result and continue to do it. In fact, we, the people of the oil-producing community, we will move from talking to action. In Nigeria, yes, the chairman is saying my time is up. The Nigerian Constitution, Odje is a lawyer. My father here is a lawyer. The Nigerian Constitution has made provision on how to approach the court. In fact, I recommend that the Nigerian court should now be filled with a lot of action against the federal government, against the injustice of the oil-producing company, against federal government for all these injustices. And we still have good judges in Nigeria, and they will listen to us. And also, we also have the right to protest. It is enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. We should protest. Protest is legal. Anything we can do within the confines of the law to make sure these people listen to us, we must do it. And that is how we will get results. May God bless you.